there were three good sons. They discussed the gifts they were able to give their elderly mother. The first said, I built a big house for our mother. The second said, I sent her a Mercedes Benz with a driver. The third said, you remember how our mother enjoys reading the Bible. Now she can't see very well, so I sent her a remarkable parrot that recites the entire Bible. It took elders in the church 12 years to teach that parrot to recite the whole Bible. Mama just has to name the chapter and verse, and the parrot will recite the whole chapter. Soon thereafter, their mother sent out a letter of thanks to their three sons. Milton, she said, the house you build is so huge. I live only in one room, but I have to clean the whole house. It's very hard. I do not need a big house. And to the second son, she wrote, Jared, I am too old to travel. I stay most of the time at home. So I rarely use the Mercedes-Benz car. And the driver is so rude. No, I don't like him. And finally, she said to the third son, he wrote, but Donald, no, she wrote, the little chicken you sent was very delicious. So we have our own way of thanking, and sometimes we don't realize the purpose. We come to the gospel today and the background. In ancient Israel, nothing was more pitiable than a leper. They were prohibited from entering any town since the disease was so contagious. They had to continuously shout, unclean, unclean. So the people knew a leper was approaching and would clear the area. They couldn't come within 50 yards of a healthy person. Theirs was a life of total isolation. No friendship, no sense of belonging, no affection. It is not easy to visualize the suffering that lepers underwent during the time of Jesus if we might not have undergone this COVID-19. The COVID-19 hit. Now we know what is separation, what is isolation, and what is lockdown, and what is being alone. We all know that because of this COVID-19, we are forced to remain in the houses. If somebody gets COVID, will you say, go and say, very hello, how are you? Will you say that? Usually Jesus said, visit the sick. Will you go and visit the sick if he or she has COVID? No, we don't visit because it's very contagious. But only difference between the COVID and to the leprosy during the time of Jesus, or the lepers, the hardness they underwent during the time of Jesus is the duration. That's a different. Now COVID, 3 months of lockdown. And if you have a COVID, it's only for 14 days of separation. And then it became 7 days of separation. And nowadays they say only 3 days. And after sometimes it will be gone. But the leprosy or the lepers during the time of Jesus, it's very hard on them because once they find out they have leprosy, then they were thrown out of the society. They did not recognize any human dignity in them. A total isolation, Yes, total separation from the society which put the lepers in the valley of darkness. They cannot talk to anybody. It's a pain. They have to ring the bell to move place to place. They cannot meet any people. So total separation, and they were in total darkness. Their life was very miserable. Now comes Jesus. No, they were shouting, Jesus. Even they cannot come too near to Jesus because they will not allow further away. Even the reading says they shouted to Jesus from a distance. And Jesus said, even Jesus did not go near to them. Jesus said, go and show yourself to the priest. And that's the only command Jesus made. And there are beautiful things that today we are called to realize in our life. Jesus said, go and show yourself to the priest. And 10 lepers, they were going, and one returned. Not all of them. Many a time in the preaching, there are two ways of preaching when the gospel comes. The gospel of the leprosy comes. There is two ways of preaching where I have gone. The one is negative preaching. What do they say about these 9? 9 were not grateful. The 9 were not good people. Jesus did them good, but they did not thank Jesus Christ. It's not like that. They were not bad people. If I were to be, I were be one among the 9, because they followed the command of Jesus Christ. He said, go and show yourself to the priest. That was the command of Jesus. Perhaps those 9 would have gone to the priest and showed him themselves that they were cleansed. And now they are coming from far away of separation. They have not met their family for so long. We do not know days or months or years. And so much emotion they might have had because now they are healed. They would like to meet the family, meet the wife, meet the children. They might have gone. They are not bad people. But there's one returned. There's many a time the positive preaching. They praised that one leper, that he was very grateful. He came back, he thanked the Lord, and perhaps that is true. We are called to be very grateful. Is it that the reading today? Not. Reading is not about just thanking. Jesus also says, no, has none but the foreigner returned to give thanks to God. Thanking God, much more important. But through the reading today, Jesus goes further and he says, our God is a God of revelation. A God who reveals. A God who allows himself to be known by the people. A God who loves us so much that he wants to be very close to us. He's not a God further away. He's not a God who will punish you. He's not a God he wants to separate from you. That's the main idea today in the gospel. He's a God of revelation. A God comes to you and me, even to the lepers, even to the people who are in isolation or in the total darkness of their life. Jesus comes. Jesus reveals. Jesus wants to know them. Jesus wants to be close to them. And that's what Jesus did. And one realized that. And the command of Jesus, go and show yourself to the priest. That's a command. And one returned, not only fulfilling the command, but he became the faith. He was able to realize that Jesus is the priest. Other 9 did not realize. That's the only difference. Others followed the law. If you are healed, you have to show yourself to the priest. And that's the law of the people of Israel. They followed the law. But this Samaritan not only followed the law, but he became aware Jesus is the priest. Jesus is God. Jesus is the source of everything. He is the life giver. He realized that we have that revelation in our life. Perhaps Naaman in the first reading. He was talking to that Eliza, the prophet, and says, don't you think that we do not have so much of water, pure water, so much of wonderful ponds in my Egypt that I can get into the water, that I can clean myself? He just ask. But the prophet says, do what I say. It's not about the God is God of wonder. A God is a God further away. A God who does make miracle to attract people. It's not that kind of God is our God. Our God is a God. He is Emmanuel. He is with us. He wants to reveal himself to us, but to be perceive him, to be know him, to be come to him. That's very important. He gets into the water, comes back with the skin like a pure, like of the child. And he realizes that he is the true God. A God who wants not your property or wealth, but wants your love and mercy. A God, he doesn't want anything that you can give, but he wants your heart, your relationship. And that's what Jesus means. Our God is a God who reveals, but to be understand him, to become close to him. Finally, the Naaman in the first reading, he left glorifying God. Elisha the prophet did not get anything from him. I do not want anything. And finally, he was forced to praise God alone. Now, build up the relationship alone with the God of Yahweh in the Old Testament. In this New Testament, the Samaritan realized that Jesus is the priest. Jesus is God, and Jesus is the life giver. It is to him that I need to surrender, because he is God who loves us so much, who can heal us also. So therefore, how is our personal life? Many a time, we all live a life according to the law. We lead a life according to our ordinary ways, through which many a time we realize we cannot see God. Just routine life. But God is there in every time to be perceive him, to be allow himself to be revealed to us, or to become close to Jesus Christ. He is always revealing, but to I perceive him in my life. That's the only point in the gospel today. Perhaps, though he was a Samaritan, was able to realize, and today Jesus calls each and every one of us. I am the God of revelation. I reveal myself to you, understand, to you come close to me, to you build up the relationship with me, is the question that Jesus asked today. What is our response?